Let's go to our next wealth secret. Wealth secret number 2. The past, for better or worse, always loses to the future. So let's repeat that. The past, for better or worse, always loses to the future. So you need to keep it going forward, because either you are creating the future or you're doing what? Reliving the past. Except for George, who's best at time travel, you want to move forward, always forward. So let's talk about how you do that and how you become more like the wealthy elite. Well, there are 5 major ways to make money. So this is how you start. So if you want to make a lot of money, you have to know how to make money. And there's only 5 ways. We call it the money rule of 5 at Greenlight. You could earn it, you could borrow it, you could save it, you could inherit it, or you could steal it, right? So let's start in reverse order. Go into way number 5, which is revolving around stealing it. Obviously, we are not advocating the illicit means, so just don't do it. So please don't steal money. The one thing I found out today that was interesting, though, that you can steal interesting anecdotes and quips and jokes. I mean, I got that from George. And whatever George tells me, I'm going to do. I mean, if George told me there were people in the street perspiring Coca-Cola, I'm going to go get a glass. Let's go to way number 4. Way number 4 is inheriting it. Now, before you start smiling and thinking this is wonderful, let's go over what's involved with way number 4, because it's a crapshoot, right? 1, you got to be part of the lucky sperm pool, right? That's number 1. Number 2, you got to be the family favorite, right? If you're that nephew that they never invite to Thanksgiving or the Christmas dinner, that's probably not you. And number 3, and I know this is going to be exciting on your list and top of your list, somebody's got to die, right? Somebody's got to die. Or as my Jamaican friends say, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants dead, right? Nobody wants to die. So that's not a good way to earn your money and to make your money. Let's go to way number 3. What about saving it? I mean, saving it sounds good. My mom was a saver. She got to about $1 million in net worth before she died. What's the problem with savings? Anybody? What's the problem? It takes too long, for starters. It takes too long. And it involves scrimping and saving and sacrificing for extended periods of time. I can tell you, when I was languishing in the early days of my computer business, about the various ways you could prepare ramen noodles. You could prepare them like linguine, you could crush them up like rice. If you want to know, come see me outside, I'll tell you about that. So it involves all the scraping and scrimping and sacrificing. And unfortunately, you'll become rich in your 70s, 80s, or 90s, just in time to die to give it to your kids. So I know that intergenerational wealth is a key component, and we all want to do that, and that's what this is all about, right? Giving it to our kids. But you don't want to have to die to do it. And anybody in the room who knows about, strategic investing will tell you that wealth, those assets should be transferred long before you hit that burial plot, long before. Let's talk about way number 2. What about borrowing it? What about borrowing it? Well, the rich do it all the time, right? The rich borrow money all the time. It's called leverage, and leverage is just what? Borrowing to invest. As long as your upside is north of your cost of money, borrowing always works. Matter of fact, Microsoft, that has $92 billion in cash reserves, mostly offshore to avoid US taxes, right? Just borrowed something like $10.75 billion. Now, why would you borrow almost $11 billion if you have $92 billion in cash and cash reserves, right, in the bank and in treasuries? You know why? Because the execs at Microsoft know something that many of you don't know, that the strategic and savvy use of good debt is nirvana for your money game. Let's look at another principle and way that you can become more like the wealthy elite. Well, the approach most likely to earn you a lot of money, and this is way number 1 because we count it down, is you have to have a successful, sustainable, and profitable business. And how many people don't have businesses in this room? Let's just see. Okay, still have a few hands. If you don't have a business, PNC 2017, and now is the time to do it. Trust me, that'll be Some of the best free advice you'll ever get. So let's talk about the wealthy and how they could always get to their destinations in life. We call it the wealth compass. And the wealth compass is basically a way that you can figure out, and you should write this down, where you're going and if you're going to be financially successful. You only have to ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, who do you hang out with? If the friends you hang out with have not been where you want to go, then how can they show you how to get there? So that's number 1. Number 2, what books do you read? One of the worst places to take me if you're in a hurry is to a bookstore. You better get a big glass of water or juice, a sandwich, some chips, and be prepared to stay a while. And unfortunately, we have cliches about this, right? Not very positive ones. If you want to hide or secret something from black folks, where do you put it? Come on, y'all. Number 3, how do you spend your time and your money? So in other words, if you tell me who you hang out with, if you tell me what books you read, and you tell me how you spend your time and your money, I'll tell you who you are and where you're going and whether you're going to be financially successful. So let's go to our final wealth secret number 3. So the third and final wealth secret is simply this: true freedom. How many people want to be free? Come on, let me see those hands. We've been slaves for 350 years. We found that out this morning. How many people want to be free? Well, true freedom is only accomplished and measured mostly in the things that make you healthy, make you happy, and or make you money. So it's not making you healthy. And we got a lot of health experts here, and of course health is the first wealth. If it's not making you healthy, and it's not making you happy, and it's not making you money, why in the world are you spending 1 microsecond on it? So that's your priorities. Healthy, happy, money. Or all of the above, hopefully, right? So it's a matter of what you accept and what you allow. And I'm going to skip through these because I want to get to the main crux of the matter. The main crux of the matter is people think in a business or in life that you need money to make money. This is a newsflash. You don't need money to make money. What do you need? You need money to make more money. If you go to the internet, if you go on your favorite newspaper or magazine, you will see stories about thousands of people who had little to no money and they became what? Millionaires. And of course, a few billionaires. So you don't need money to make money. That's a racket. That's a background conversation. Don't believe it for a second. You need money to make more money. Now again, as you're making all this money, there's another component you got to work on. There's another component you have to work on, and that is working on your core. Money only makes you more of who you already are. It's an amplifier of self. So if you're a positive, productive, and generous person, then what's going to happen to you when you come into or earn some more money? You're going to be more positive, more productive, more generous. But what if you're that other person, those other people that haven't worked on their core and they're not so positive, productive, or generous? Well, you're going to be raising all sorts of hell when you get the money. So the key takeaway here is you should be working on your core while you're working on your cash, right? Say that. You should be working on your core while you're working on your cash. So in summary, let's talk about what we learned here. Number 1, the only difference between you and those you admire or maybe in envy is what? Their mindset, their perspective, and their relationship with money, right? And there's very little difference to nothing to do with how much money you have or make. So money is not the key. Wealth creation is not dependent on you making a lot of money initially. You have to have a wealth mindset. And another thing I would take out of that was summarized earlier is the wealthy do not live in the land of hope. And I love our people, and we are the most spiritual people and positive people and resilient people, but we use hope as a tactic, right? We use hope as a strategy. The wealthy, and I've been around thousands of millionaires, multimillionaires, mega millionaires, and 8 billionaires. They don't take that approach. They live in the land of expectation. They expect things to work out. and they are completely beside themselves when things don't. They're completely beside themselves when things don't. Keep in mind that money only makes you more of who you already are. Major difference between you and the wealthy is what? Mindset, perspective, and relationship with money. And finally, this wasn't the most recent slide, but that's all right. We're going to get to the end. One of the takeaways you should take from that first anecdote and story, please don't be a sheep, and I'm talking about financially, or at least don't go out to dinner with wolves. I'm Dr. Terrence Cash. My pleasure to be here.
Let's put our hands together one more time for Dr. Terrence Cash. Some more big ideas that matter.